Science Grade 5. Quarter 4, Module 6. The 8 planets of the Solar System. Identify the planet that is described in column A and match it with the items in column B. Write the letter of U answers on a separate sheet of paper. Column A. 1. This planet is a huge ball of gas and is the least dense of all planets, such that it is lighter than water. 2. It is the biggest of all the planets in the Solar System, more than 11 times bigger than the Earth. 3. It is a blue planet which has faint rings and is about 4 times bigger than our planet. 4. It is the only known planet in the Solar System to have liquid water in it. 5. This is the smallest planet in the Solar System and is the closest to the Sun. 6. This planet is red because its soil oxidizes and is currently being visited by spacecraft Perseverance. 7. This planet's axis is tilted more than that of any other planet such that it rotates on its side. 8. This planet has a thin atmosphere and has its rocky surface altered by volcanic eruptions and chemical reactions. 9. This planet is known as our planet's twin and is also the hottest planet in the Solar System. 10. This planet has a big red spot which is actually an enormous storm whirling in its atmosphere. Column B. A. Earth. B. Jupiter. C. Mars. D. Mercury. E. Neptune. F. Saturn. G. Uranus. H. Venus. Lesson 1. The 8 planets of the Solar System. The planet Earth is part of a family. It is one of the 8 planets that belong to the Solar System. Each planet moves around the Sun. There are many millions of kilometers between the planets. 2 planets are closer to the Sun than the Earth. The other 5 are farther away from the Sun than our planet. 4 are much bigger and has rings. 6 of the planets have moons. All of these planets are tied to the Sun by its gravity. They are the Sun's family, called the Solar System. During some nights we can see 5 of the planets in the Sun's family, shining like stars. The difference between a star and a planet is that stars seem to twinkle, but planets shine with a steady light. On a clear night, too, you may see thousands of twinkling stars. They seem to be scattered over the sky. You can try to see shapes and patterns in the stars. People use their imagination to link the stars together to form shapes and patterns in the sky. These shapes and patterns are called constellations. Arrange the jumbled up capital letters to identify the star patterns below. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Start from the arrow that says begin here and navigate your way through this maze which contains a hidden message. Write the secret message on a separate sheet of paper. Observe proper punctuation as you write. Every day, the Sun appears to travel across the Earth's sky from east to west. In fact, the Earth circles the Sun. The Earth is part of the Sun's family, called the Solar System. It is one of 8 bodies called main planets that circle the Sun. A planet is a heavenly body that is in orbit around a star, like the Sun, must be big enough to have enough gravity to have a nearly rounded shape and big enough that its gravity cleared away any objects of a smaller size near its orbit. The 8 main planets are the most important members of the Sun's family. In order of distance from the Sun, they are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. The first 4 are small rocky bodies. The next 4 are giants, made up mainly of gas and ice. Mercury is the smallest planet, with a rocky solid, cratered surface, much like the Earth's moon. The 2 spacecraft of ESA JOXs, European Space Agency and Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, BP Colombo are en route to Mercury. NASA's Mariner 10 was the first mission to explore Mercury, and NASA's Messenger was the first to orbit the innermost planet. Venus is the hottest planet on our solar system, even though it is only the second planet from the Sun. Another strange thing about Venus is that it spins backwards, from east to west, with the Sun rising in the west and setting in the east. This planet's thick, toxic atmosphere is filled with carbon dioxide, and it is perpetually covered in thick, yellowish clouds of mostly sulfuric acid that trap heat, causing a greenhouse effect. Venus' high surface temperatures of 465 degrees Celsius overheat electronics and spacecraft in a short time, so it seems unlikely that a person could survive long on its surface. Venus was the first planet to be explored by a spacecraft. NASA's Mariner 2 scanned it in 1962. Since then, more than 40 spacecraft have explored the planet, including NASA's Magellan, which mapped the planet's surface with radar, Soviet Union's Venera 13, which survived the intense heat and crushing pressure of its surface, and Japan's Akatsuki is currently orbiting Venus. Our home planet is the only place we know of so far that is inhabited by living things. While Earth is only the fifth largest planet in the solar system, it is also the only world with liquid water covering more than 70% of its surface. The Earth's atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 1% of other elements, which is the perfect balance to breathe and live. Many orbiting spacecraft study the Earth from above, as a whole system, observing the atmosphere, oceans, glaciers and the solid Earth. The Philippines Maya 2 CubeSat, the second nano-satellite made by Filipinos, launched last February 21st of this year, is among those. Mars is a dusty, cold, desert world with a very thin atmosphere. It is also a dynamic planet with seasons, polar ice caps, canyons, extinct volcanoes, and evidence that it was even more active in the past. Mars is known as the red planet because iron minerals in the soil oxidize, or rust, causing the soil in the atmosphere to look red. The planet has a thin atmosphere that allows heat to escape easily. It is made up mostly of carbon dioxide, argon, nitrogen and a small amount of oxygen and water vapor. NASA's next-generation Perseverance rover touched down on Mars on February 18, 2021 and is only one of the 3 spacecraft that arrived on Mars this year. The other 2 are Hope Orbiter from United Arab Emirates and Tianwen-1 mission from China. Several missions have already visited this planet, with Mariner 4 as the first true successful mission in 1965. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. The planet's composition is similar to a star, but it never got big enough to start burning. One iconic feature of Jupiter is the Great Red Spot, a swirling oval of clouds, which is a giant storm bigger than Earth that has raged for hundreds of years. The planet is also surrounded by moons and several rings. However, its rings are very faint and made of dust, not ice. NASA's Juno orbiter, which was first to study the planet's mysterious cloud-covered interior, is currently exploring this giant world, although 9 spacecraft have already visited Jupiter. Pioneer 10 was the first spacecraft to fly past Jupiter, while Galileo mission was the first to orbit Jupiter and to send an atmospheric probe into the stormy clouds. Saturn is the second largest planet on our solar system, with a beautiful ringlets. Its rings are made up of chunks of ice and rock, thought to have been pieces of comets, asteroids or shattered moons that broke up before they reached the planet, torn apart by Saturn's powerful gravity. Saturn is that it is the only planet in the solar system which has an average density that is less than water, meaning, if there is an ocean big enough to contain the solar system, all the planets will sink, except for Saturn. The planet is blanketed with clouds that appear as faint stripes, jet streams and storms. In its north pole is an interesting atmospheric feature, a six-sided jet stream. This hexagon-shaped pattern is a wavy jet stream of 322 km/h winds, with a massive, rotating storm at the center. Few missions have visited Saturn because of its not-so-friendly environment, with Pioneer 11 and Voyagers 1 and 2 which flew by it and Cassini which orbited the planet 294 times from 2004 to 2017. Uranus is known as the sideways planet, because it rotates on its side in a clockwise direction, unlike most planets. Due to Uranus' unique sideways rotation, the planet experiences seasons where its north pole experiences 21 years of nighttime in winter, 21 years of daytime in summer and 42 years of day and night in the spring and fall. Uranus has methane above a small rocky center. Methane gas absorbs the red portion of the light, resulting in the planet's blue-green color. Uranus also has faint rings. The inner rings are narrow and dark. The outer rings are brightly colored and easier to see. Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to fly by Uranus. No spacecraft has orbited this distant planet to study it at length and up close, although more recent observations reveal it has dynamic clouds. Dark, cold and whipped by supersonic winds, ice giant Neptune is farthest planet in our solar system. Neptune is the only planet on our solar system which is not visible to the naked eye. Neptune is our solar system's windiest world, made up of methane over an Earth-sized solid center. All giant planets have rings, but Neptune's rings are thought to be relatively young and short-lived, and are very hard to see. A large, oval-shaped storm in Neptune's southern hemisphere dubbed as the Great Dark Spot was large enough to contain the entire Earth. NASA's Voyager 2 is the only spacecraft to have visited Neptune up close. It flew past 1989 on its way out of the solar system. Activity 1. Fill in the table with the missing details. Write your answer on a separate sheet of paper. Activity 2. Match the descriptions in column A with its planet in column B. A planet may be described more than once. Use only capital letters in answering. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Column A. 1. This planet is tilted to its side while traveling around the Sun in a clockwise direction. 2. This planet's thin atmosphere cannot support life as we know it now and is currently explored by Perseverance, determining the planet's past and future potential for life. 3. This terrestrial planet is a cold, dusty, desert world with dynamic seasons, polar ice caps, iron minerals and a small amount of oxygen and water vapor in its atmosphere. 4. It is the fifth largest planet in the solar system with a hospitable mix of elements making life suitable. 5. This planet's rings are made up of chunks of ice and rocks, and is blanketed by clouds appearing as faint stripes. 6. There has been no evidence of life had been found in this small, cratered, terrestrial planet which rotates so slow, its day is nearly as long as its year. 7. This world is composed of the same elements that make up a star and has a giant storm raging on it for hundreds of years. 8. This planet is the hottest as it traps in heat and rotates from east to west, with its day lasting longer than its year. 9. This giant icy world has both a ring system and a dark spot that is short-lived. 10. It still is not the hottest planet despite being only 55 million kilometers from the Sun. Column B. A. Earth. B. Jupiter. C. Mars. D. Mercury. E. Neptune. F. Saturn. G. Uranus. H. Venus. Activity 3. Let us take a quick quest around the solar system by answering the questions and following the order they were arranged. Enjoy. 1. You see many shades of yellow, brown and gray. In its north pole is a hexagon-shaped pattern of a wavy jet stream of 322 kilometers per hour winds. Where are you? Neptune, go to 8. Saturn, go to 4. 2. Correct again. Uranus' unique tilt makes the planet appear to spin on its side, orbiting the Sun like a rolling ball. Which gas giant was visited by a spacecraft named Juno? Saturn, slide to 11. Jupiter, slide to 16. 3. Hooray! Perseverance is tasked with surface-based analysis of the Martian environment, seeking preserved signs of microbial life that may have formed in Mars. Go to 22 to complete your mission. 4. Lucky start. Saturn is blanketed with clouds that appear as faint stripes of yellow, brown and gray. In which planet should you find 21% of oxygen in the atmosphere? Earth, proceed to 15. Venus, proceed to 9. 5. Not quite. More than 40 spacecraft from different countries and different agencies have explored the planet Venus. Most notable is Venera 13, surviving heat and pressure for 2 hours. Perseverance is not one of them. Return to 16. 6. No. Rotating on its side is not Saturn's unique feature. Saturn's uniqueness lies in its characteristic average density that is less than water, which makes the planet lighter than water. Return to 13. 7. Excellent choice. One iconic feature of Jupiter is the Great Red Spot, which is really a great storm raging the planet for centuries. Which planet has red hue due to iron in soil that oxidizes? Earth, move to 17. Mars, move to 12. 8. You have taken the wrong answer. Neptune is a vivid, bright blue color due to the presence of methane in its atmosphere. Winds whip clouds at 2,000 kilometers per hour. Start back at 1. 9. Nope. Venus' thick, toxic atmosphere is filled with carbon dioxide, and it is perpetually covered in thick, yellowish clouds of mostly sulfuric acid that trap heat, causing a greenhouse effect. Return to 4. 10. You have tripped off the trail. Although it was only in 1979 when Jupiter was discovered to have a few rings, there was no evidence that it was short-lived. Its rings are just faint as it is made of dust, not ice. Go back to 18. 11. Not again. Few spacecraft have visited Saturn because of its not-so-friendly environment, with Pioneer 11, Voyagers 1 and 2 and Cassini as its most notable robotic visitors. Fly back to 2. 12. You have a very good showing. Mars is known as the red planet because iron minerals in the soil oxidize, or rust. Which planet is the hottest in the solar system? Mercury, go to 20. Venus, go to 18. 13. Right. Neptune's rings are relatively young and short-lived and may not last long. This ring planet's uniqueness lies in its sideways rotation. Uranus, head back to 2. Saturn, head back to 6. 14. Uranus' great dark spot are clouds which, according to recent observations, reveal to be dynamic clouds. Head back to 19. 15. Brilliant. Earth's atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 1% of other materials suitable to breathe and live. Which planet was visited by Messenger? Mars, move to 21. Mercury, move to 19. 16. Okay. NASA's Juno orbiter was first to study the planet's mysterious interior. With the mission of finding possibility of life, which planet did Perseverance visit on February 2021? Mars, proceed to 3. Venus, proceed to 5. 17. Bad fallout. While Earth does have the element iron in its crust, it does not make our planet red enough when viewed in outer space. Retreat back to 7. 18. Yes. Venus' atmosphere traps heat and causes the planet's temperature to soar to as high as 465 degrees Celsius. Which giant planet has rings that will probably not last long? Jupiter, turn to 10. Neptune, turn to 13. 19. You scored it right. NASA's Messenger was the first to orbit Mercury. Which planet features a spot that really is a storm? Uranus, trek back to 14. Jupiter, trek back to 7. 20. Mean. Though Mercury is only 58 million kilometers from the Sun, with a thin atmosphere where surface temperatures can reach up to 430 degrees Celsius, it still is not the hottest planet. Bounce back to 12. 21. A.E.A. Mars is currently being explored by NASA's Perseverance since its touchdown on February 18, after its 203-day journey. Open 10 when one or the other two spacecraft currently on Mars. Run back to 15. 22. Congratulations, dear learner. Your mission has been completed. You may now move on to your next task. Have fun while learning something new. Fill in the blanks with the correct words. Choose the correct answers inside the box. Use a separate sheet of paper in writing your answers. There are 8 planets in the solar system. These are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, 1, blank, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. They all go around the Sun in a path called an orbit. The first 4 planets are called terrestrial planets because they have a rocky surface. The planet, 2, blank, looks like a moon, bare and with millions of craters. Next is the planet Venus, which rotates backwards, from east to west, much like the planet, 3, blank, which spins on its side. 4, blank, is so far the only planet where life as we know it can exist because of its favorable conditions in sustaining life. The red planet is Mars, so called because of the red hues caused by iron oxidizing in its soil. Jupiter and Saturn are both gas giants because of their size, and their composition is mostly hydrogen and helium, which are gases. Jupiter's main feature is the Great Red Spot, which is actually a storm raging on for hundreds of years. What makes 5 blank unique besides its rings is that its average density makes it lighter than water and a hexagonally shaped jet stream on its north pole. Uranus and Neptune are called ice giants because they are composed of frozen gas. Uranus spins backwards on its side and Neptune is notable for being the windiest planet in the solar system. Both planets get their blue color from methane in its atmosphere. Title: Solar System Mobile Model. Caution: this activity requires you to cut paper. Caution should be practiced and ask for the assistance of your parents or guardians when handling sharp objects. Problem: what characterizes each planet? What you need: cartolina, paper plate, tape, crayons, pencil, yarn, glue, pom-pom, orange, paper clip, scissors. What you need to do: 1. Draw the 8 planets according to their descriptions. Cut the illustrations. Exercise caution in handling sharp objects and request help from older members of the family when necessary. 2. Punch holes in the paper plate and mark out the positions of the planets. 3. Measure and cut the strings to appropriate lengths and attach them to the designated planets. 1 5-inch string for the Sun, 4 10-inch string pieces for the terrestrial planets and 4 12-inch string pieces for the gas and ice giants should be prepared. 4. Glue or paste the copy of the planet template to a cardstock paper. Color the cutout planets. 5. Tape one end of the strings to the back of the cardstock paper with the planet copy. Put the other end of the string on the punch holes of the paper plate and tie it at a paper clip. Do the same for all the planet templates. Tie the pom-pom with the yarn and slip the yarn on the hole in the paper plate, then tie the end to a paper clip. 6. To hang the mobile, punch 4 more holes at the ends of the paper plate, then tie the 4 ends of the strings together. What have you found out? Analyze each question very well. Use complete sentences when answering. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. 1. What characterizes each planet? 2. Compare the gas giants from the ice giants. 3. Compare the terrestrial planets from the gas and ice giants. 4. How did you decide on the positions of the planets? 5. Why is the Sun at the center of the mobile? 6. From the mobile model, what do you think is holding the planets together? 7. Why do you think are the 4 terrestrial planets smaller than the giants? 8. Why are the ice and gas giant planets too big? 9. What particular feature is common among the gas giants and the ice giants? 10. What do you think makes the gas and ice giants bigger than the terrestrial planets? Analyze each test question. Choose the letter of the correct answer. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. 1. Why is Earth the perfect place for life? Because Earth has hospitable temperature. 2. Because Earth is the only planet with liquid water. 3. Because Earth has an atmosphere, oceans, glaciers and the solid Earth. 4. Because Earth's atmosphere is made up of 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen and 1% of other elements. 1, 2, 3. B 1, 2, 4. C, I, 3, 4. D 2, 3, 4. 2. If Jupiter becomes bigger than it already is, what could happen to the planet? A. It will be big enough to start burning and implode. B. It will be big enough to start burning and be a star. C. It will be big enough to start burning and distort its rings. D. It will be big enough to start burning and engulf its moons. 3. Why can Mars' surface not support life as we know it? A. Because its oil easily oxidizes or rusts. B. Because it had evidence of active volcanoes. C. Because its surface is altered by chemical reactions. D. Because its thin atmosphere allows the sun's heat to escape easily. 4. How would you describe the planet Mercury? A. It has a surface that burns and an atmosphere that freezes. B. It has an atmosphere with the right ingredient to sustain life. C. It is a small planet with a rocky solid surface like the Earth's moon. D. It is like the Earth in size, and it is too hot in the day and too cold at night. 5. Why is Neptune the only planet that is not visible to the naked eye? A. Because Neptune is too far away from the Sun. B. Because Neptune is too far away from the Earth. C. Because Neptune is the only planet to be discovered using mathematics. D. Because the telescope was not yet invented during the discovery of Neptune. 6. How are Saturn's rings thought to have been created? A. From the melting and vaporizing of comets and asteroids. B. From the planet's gravity attracting dust, pieces of rocks and ice. C. From the planet's powerful gravity tearing apart other heavenly bodies. D. From the planet's moons and meteors shattering and breaking. 7. Why does Uranus experience 2 decades of nighttime in winter, 2 decades of daytime in summer and 4 decades of day and night in the spring and fall? A. Because Uranus is tilted on its side. B. Because Uranus is very far from the Sun. C. Because Uranus has methane in its atmosphere. D. Because Uranus rotates in a backwards direction. 8. What makes Venus the hottest planet? A. It has a crushing air pressure at its surface. B. It is close to the Sun, being the second planet. C. It has acidic clouds that does not bring in rain. D. Its atmosphere contains sulfuric acid that trap the heat. 9. Which spacecraft that visited Venus mapped the planet's surface with radar? A. Japan's Akatsuki. B. NASA's Magellan. C. NASA's Mariner 2. D. Soviet Union's Venera 13. 10. Which gas gives the bluish coloring of the planets Uranus and Neptune? A. Ammonia. B. Helium. C. Hydrogen. D. Methane. Activity 1. One of those mind-building games is Sudoku. Though the game is mostly used for numbers, the 8 planets and the Sun could also be turned into a game. The object of Sudoku is to fill in all 9 squares, such that no number is repeated vertically, horizontally or in each grouped cube of 9. Refer to the table below to understand which characteristic or description each Sudoku table will be focusing on. Choices will also be provided. To facilitate the change in from numbers to planets, the replacement below is also given. Write your answers on a separate sheet of paper. Replace each number with a corresponding planet as follows. Number 1 equals Mercury. Number 2 equals Venus. Number 3 equals Earth. Number 4 equals Mars. Number 5 equals Jupiter. And 0. 6 equals Saturn. Number 7 equals Uranus. Number 8 equals Neptune. Number 9 equals Sun. Activity 2. You can continue learning more about the planets with your friends or siblings at home with the Solar System Cookie Catcher. Photocopy the template on the next page. Cut along the dotted lines. Then fold all corners towards the center. Flip over the paper with the folded corners, then fold again the corners towards the center, then fold it in half. Slide both thumbs and pointing fingers, as shown in the illustration, under all 4 flaps. Have fun taking turns asking questions.